Note on these notes, they're going to try a lot of things. They're going to say, hey, we told you that. We already wrote that down. We published that. Let me speak on this publishing thing again. There's literal meanings and there's implied meaning. And they know doggone well they're implying that everyone was told. We informed the public. We published it. No, 10 readers does not make informing the public. And a sampling of 100 does not do it either. And so these things you weren't told, and the only thing they're doing is incriminating themselves, saying, hey, we knew this already and we didn't tell you. That's what they're saying. But they already, it would be best for them to just let it go as now you know. They should not even draw fire to themselves by saying, I already knew that. Because anyone who claims to know any of the information that I'm giving to you is guilty of withholding important information that is life or death. If they show no, there's going to be those who say, I've been trying to tell them that for years. How do you try to tell someone something? How do you try to tell someone something? Are you saying they weren't listening? Impossible. There's no such thing as not listening. Right now, anyone else in the room with you who isn't so called listening to this note, their incredible mind hears every word of it. We could hypnotize them and they can quote every word that I'm saying, even if they're in another room. So there's no such thing as they weren't listening to me. They weren't behaving the way you wanted them to behave. It wasn't listening in the fashion that you pictured. I don't know what you mean because you're insane. You've been trying to tell them for years. How come I'm not trying to tell them? How come I'm telling them? I'm not trying to tell them. I'm telling them. How come it took you so many years to try to tell them? Because you didn't know how to say it? Because you didn't know what you were talking about. You knew about a subject and you had a few details about it. And you call yourself passing them details on. But when questions arise, you couldn't answer them. You were still searching for answers yourself. You were trying to get someone to help you figure out the thing. You, but you came like you had it figured out and you were telling them something. And human beings reject that. They reject you coming, acting like you know something that you don't. And they reject when you tell them something with finality, like this is the way it is, this is the only way it is, and this is the way it always will be and always has been. Um, they reject that type of thing. And you lost sight of the oneness. See, oneness is don't say anything to anyone that you wouldn't listen to. Don't say anything to anyone that you don't want to hear. See how the oneness works? You know when someone's lying because they do the characteristics that you do when you're lying. You know when someone's guilty because they act like you act when you're guilty. Some of them have a program. They have a program. The program dates back way back to the 40s and 30s. I'm getting ready to illustrate this program to you as soon as this next vehicle passes by. Wow, now it's not going to pass by. People are going to get out and they're going to start talking. They aren't big anymore, but they used to be big, and you big people, sorry you have big mouths. They have programs. This is how the program works. A little cartoon mouse is up to no good. Sneaky business. A little clown, anybody up to sneaky business. When they are detected, what do? They start whistling and walking like, hmm, hmm, hmm. This is the universal, I'm trying to act innocent. It's been programmed into you. So automatically when you do something, you start whistling or singing and going through this motion and you give yourself away that you're guilty. You start humming and doing things that are out of the ordinary to cover yourself. You start acting over innocent. See, innocent isn't acting anyway. Innocent is just being normal. When you start to act, that's no longer normal. It's a premeditated behavior, a chosen behavior. See, normal is dealing with things as they happen. It's what you use to cross the street with. You judge whether you got enough time to cross without getting hit by a car. That's in the norm, what you call the adult state. All right? You use it to judge how to pick up a glass so that you don't overreach it. That's the normal state. This acting thing, that's abnormal. Okay? That's an attempt at manipulating the minds of the people around you, not even the objects, because the objects is normal. But people, now you're acting abnormal. So, this notice about I already knew, we told them that, I've been trying to say everything but that's right. They're even going to say that with their smugness. Some of them are going to say, I already knew that. They're going to imply it by saying, you should listen to him. Not that they should listen, but you should listen. I already know this stuff. You need to hear it. Check them on that. Test them on it. See if they know this stuff after you hear it. See, I thought you knew. I thought you knew. Let me stop the tape now and you tell me something about it that he hasn't said. This is what you do with each and every note.